What happens when a country holds an election but 7 out of every 10 people aren't in the room? On the 11th of February 2026, Barbados made history again. The Barbados Labour Party secured its third consecutive sweep, 30-0. Now, in the eyes of the world, that seems like a total mandate, but beneath that red C is a number that really should make people stop and think. Early reports, and remember that we're still waiting on the final official tally from the Electoral and Boundaries Commission, suggest that the voter turnout was approximately 30.8%. That means that there's almost 70% of Bajans who did not cast the vote. I am just a regular Bajan, and I'm not here to drag anybody, no party or any politician. I am basically here because I care about our BajStory, our history that we are writing in real time. Today we are going to deep dive into the silence of 2026. What really going on? Why did this happen? Was it apathy, or was the system itself underneath all that a barrier? Let me call it we BajStory. So before we go into this very heavy topic, I just want to take a moment to welcome all of you and say thank you. Whether you've been with me since the beginning of this channel last year, January, or you just found me because of the election buzz going on in Barbados, I am so grateful that you are here. You have taken your time to come and watch and comment and subscribe, like, share, do all the things. This channel right here, So Bajans.net, is a space for honest and sometimes uncomfortable conversations about we BajStory, our culture, and things like that. If you find value in these, like we call it we BajStory episodes, please consider sticking around. Hit the subscribe button and turn on that notification bell because you need that in order to ensure that you know when I post. This will be great because the more of us who are in these type of conversations, the stronger our Bajans.net collective would become. No pressure, just giving you a warm invitation to be part of this very, I think, valuable community. To understand why 30.8% is so shocking, we have to go back a bit. Our ancestors fought for the right to vote. In 1951, when we got our universal adult suffrage, the turnout was around 65%. For decades, we were a 60 to 70% country. We even got to 81% at some point in time. We are proud of that. However, look at the recent chapters of our BajStory. 2013, 2018, then 2022, now 2026. This isn't just a dip. This is a trend. For an international viewer, you may see a 30-0 win and think that that's a total consensus. But locally, we have to ask this question. If roughly 70% of the people aren't participating, is the will of the people being fully captured? Now, as a neurodivergent person, I'll be honest, looking at these graphs and hearing the loud victory chants while seeing these low numbers is very overwhelming. It feels like a disconnect. And if you've been feeling anxious and confused about these results as well, I want you to know that you are definitely not alone in this feeling. Now, let's be very accurate here, right? Because I don't want none to come in for me. When I say almost 70% did not vote, I am not saying 70% of Bajans just couldn't be bothered. That is a dangerous narrative to keep in your mind. The international observers, the missions from CARICOM and the Commonwealth, noted that while the elections was peaceful and free and fair in its mechanics, there were serious hurdles to overcome. They flagged missing names on the voters list. They noted challenges with registration and enumeration. They pointed out that many polling stations weren't accessible for seniors or people with disabilities. So part of that silent 70% consists of people who were turned away. People who went to the polls with their IDs ready to participate in their democracy only to be told that they weren't on the list. So I know all sorts of situations could be the reason why this happened, but still. This isn't total apathy. This is a system failure. When a person is turned away once, they may not come back for the next 10 years. And this is how the BajStory ends up being broken. The Prime Minister has acknowledged that the system needs an update. Since being sworn in, she has spoken about electoral reform, noting that our legislation is over 30 years old. She mentioned anti-deflection legislation, preventing MPs from crossing the floor without going back to the people for a new mandate. And appointment reforms, changing how the EBC, the Electorals and Boundaries Commission, and service commissions are appointed, so it's not just the Prime Minister making the call. These are big structural changes, and to some they sound like stability, and to others they raise some questions about representation. If an MP feels their party has left them, should they feel forced to stay? This is the sort of question we need to be talking in the net. So, lovelies, where do we go from here? If we want to bring that 70% back into the room, the solutions have to be people-centered. Clean the list. We need a transparent digital first registration system where you can verify your status 365 days in a year, not just a few weeks before an election, not just a few days before an election. Observers suggested that counting should be done at the polling stations. This builds immediate trust and stops the long, laborious, anxious wait for centralized results. True accessibility as well. Ramps, seating, clear signage should not be optional extras. Come on, we're living in the 21st century. They are fundamental to a democracy. We are a republic now, man. Barbados is a republic and we're writing a new constitution. This is our chance to make sure that the systems fit all of the Barbadians, every single Bajan, rather than forcing people to fit into what is a broken system. So since things are being changed a bit, all of this now remains to be seen. Listen to me. Our BajStory is still being written. It is always being written. And whether you were in the 30% who voted or the 70 who stayed home or were turned away or you were unable to go or you couldn't care less or whatever, you are still a character in Barbados' history. So don't fool yourself. I want to hear from you about all of this, right? Did you face challenges at the polls? Did you feel like your vote didn't matter this time around? Or are you hopeful that these reforms will change things positively for every single Barbadian?